Hello everyone, I am KateKruzan, and today we are doing an emoji character design challenge. We will be grabbing 3 random emojis from a randomizer. I'll link the website in the description. But today's emojis are a bowl of 3 scoops of ice cream, I believe it's Neapolitan, a man emoji, and this sign with a minus in the middle. I do not know what it is, but I really love this prompt and these emojis specifically. I have great ideas for them, and I think we will get something really unique, so let's go ahead and get into it. Now, for this design, going into it, I really want to stick to a humanoid design since we did get that man emoji. And I specifically mean humanoid, meaning it doesn't necessarily need to be a human, but it should have all the basic features and not be covered in fur. So we are staying away from anthropomorphic characters, especially since I feel like it's been forever since we did an actual human-looking character, and my mini-me doesn't count. Hopefully this can start a trend of me drawing more humanoid characters though, and I could use really more. And I mean specifically humanoid characters that have no link to animals, or what I call hybrids, like Kate. She is a panda-human hybrid. I want to avoid that, not because she isn't adorable, but because I don't want to rely on animal features to make my characters interesting, at least for today. Now, this is definitely me going off on a tangent, so if you want to skip ahead, go ahead. That's fine, I'm not offended. But I want to address the specific reason, because I've been thinking about this a lot lately, the specific reason why my characters like Kate, or my other anthropomorphic animals like Honey Pop being a bat-kangaroo hybrid, or Kazmara being a large mutant. Those characters are so different than this subcategory of humanoid we're going to work on, because this category is more relatable to us as normal human beings, like the character we're going to draw today. He's just a guy in a big, funky outfit with fun, funky costume and makeup. That's it. That's what he is. He's a clown. And I don't think I've tapped enough into my characters that genuinely have the raw human experience and aren't just given magical abilities off of a whim. Not that Kate isn't adorable, but she can pull pandas out of a hat. We can't really do that, because Mara can turn people into mutants. That is something we could never achieve. And I need more relatable characters, and I don't think I feel like I've designed any like that recently. Like, I'll name a few examples of characters I mean. Like Babe. Babe is a great design. She's a bald woman, and she is a makeup artist. That really taps at my heartstrings. I relate to that so much. I even got her way before I even dove into makeup artistry at all. But makeup artistry is something we all can necessarily practice at and learn the skill. Another example is Donovan. Donovan is a tightrope walker. His design it taps at my heartstrings in a different way my other characters never could, because he has that raw human experience. And my last example is Bex. Bex is a character who deals with body image issues and overcomes it. And she is like a strong character and has that raw human experience. And Bex is a really great example as one that teeters on humanoid and being like quirky and whimsical, because her hair is snow cones and it can melt or get bigger in her normal snow cone state, but she's not necessarily magical. That's just like her emotions in her design. So she's like a great example of like pushing it to the max, but keeping the raw human experience. And that's what I want to design today. I feel like I've been really missing out on that in my character catalog of many characters. I know, crazy that Katie thinks she's missing something in her massive character catalog, but I really want to get back to that, especially since I feel like I designed characters like that more back when I was starting out as an artist. Like Donovan. Donovan was a character I designed to be sold, and I ended up keeping him because no one wanted him, which, thank God no one wanted him, because I love Donovan. But that's what I want to work on today. And I hope my little spiel inspired at least one person to appreciate their humanoid characters a little more. Anyway, oh my goodness gracious, where are we even? Okay, so I was looking at this set of emojis, and I did address we are drawing a clown, but when I was looking at what route I wanted to take, I saw the minus sign specifically and thought it would be great for the cheeks. kind of like Minun and Plusle from Pokemon. And that kind of led me to Clown, because also my FNAF brain sister location, I saw that was like Clown sister location. Let me just do Clown. It doesn't even have to do anything with FNAF. I love Circus Baby's design, and I always think back to her when I think of Clown. But, you know, rounded blush cheeks are a core clown feature outside of FNAF. So, whatever. But now that we are thinking on the lines of Clown, I was thinking about how I wanted to incorporate the snow cone, the ice cream cone bowl into the design, and I thought the best solution would be oversized pants that replicate the bowl's shape and silhouette. It will be great. His pants will be literally like a giant bowl of ice cream, and I'll put like fake ice cream scoops in it. And since we have a giant bowl, I can also design a giant spoon for him to hold. It's pretty rare that I design items in a ref sheet that the character holds, or weapons. Not that this would be a weapon, although when in Rome, might as well. But I just thought that would work 2 and 2. It just makes sense. And I will also be sure, as I'm designing like the headpiece I end up drawing and working on the other bits of the design, I will be using the same like silhouette shape principles from the pants and the spoon and like that emoji ice cream bowl, and apply it to like the headpiece, and add like these round puff balls, these round pom-poms on throughout the front of his design in a row, kind of like to be like the cherries, kind of like give resemblance to that, you know? Stuff like that. And of course his whole design is going to stay rounded as much as possible, because that is just his shape theme, is round. He's a big boy, he's a round boy. Now, a few features and elements outside of the round theme I talked about that are very intentional. This is very intentional I do it. I'm not just like doing this on a whim. Sometimes. Maybe. I'm a liar. No, I'm not. I'm not lying. I mean, who am I? But other than the round shape theme, there is like a small line theme you can see in the line art. And then, you know, I add stripes in the coloring, so it adds more to it because that was planned. Kind of. Shush. I plan everything. You don't know anything. But, line and stripe theme was added, and what really makes this look good in the design is the added suspenders, the spoon, and also the little spoons in the hat, which kind of look like chopsticks because you can't see the end of the spoon, but they're spoons. And what's great about these is they are directing lines. I've kind of talked about this before in a character design video, but I love talking about it because it's always a good thing to use, and any type of art, even beginners can do this, it's very easy. If you are drawing like a sword, a pencil, something that can point, take that item and make sure it's pointing back to the center of your drawing or the focal point of your drawing. And that really, it will draw in the eye right where you want it to go. And it's just a smart way to draw. You know what I mean? Like, even for my sprite moving, if you saw at the beginning, or I know it's kind of behind the screen. Here, hold on. If you look at my sprite now, even the ice cream scoop points inward towards my face. That's actually very intentional, and it's a great way to get the eye into your drawing and not just necessarily focusing at just focusing. Good night. Focusing at just the ice cream scoop. Because let's be real, the busiest parts of my sprite are the ice cream bowls and sprinkles itself. It really draws your eye to it, and to have it point back to my sprite talking is it's just really good composition. So I did that in this design using the suspenders going up towards the face, and the spoon. The spoon is kind of like, it's so large, it's kind of, it kind of is an awkward kind of pointing, but I still count it because it can kind of point both inward to the face still, and then the chopsticks, the spoons point directly to the face again. I forgot to mention, or I forgot, the reason I did stripes or lines was because of that minus sign. I didn't want it to stick out on the cheeks, so I added it into other features in the design, but like the spoon, adding that long line and the suspenders and then the stripes because I didn't want the minus sign to stand out. That's why I did it. I forgot to say that. That's why I was so confused as to why I'm like, why did I do that? I'm like, I didn't just do it on a whim. I know I planned my stuff. That's why I did it. But I mean, if you've been here before, you might know that stripes is something I lean on a lot. So I'm also trying to justify my addiction. Okay, on to colors, and when I tell you this was the biggest balancing act of the century, I had to move mountains to get this character design to work. It's so weird that it was so challenging for me to just get right, but I just kept chipping away at it, and goodness, let me check to see how long it actually took me. This character design in total took me 3 hours, which probably for normal people is not bad, but that's a little mid in the time section for Katie. That's kind of a longer amount of time for me, but considering this character has an item and a really, unique costume, I'll allow it, but it felt like forever, this balancing act, trying to get things to look right. And there was one thing I wanted to make sure I did, was have the character darker skinned, because I loved the contrast that color had with the other pink and blue shades. Although I did have to change the brown color a few times because I did try to pick right off of the emojis, but that one brown color, I just had to adjust it a little bit to just have it sing a little harmony more with the other colors. But it was still a really good pick at first. I needed to tweak it to make sure it fit in my brain right. But I wanted to make sure that this character was darker skinned so that the other colors contrasted beautifully, and I love that. I think it looks great. But I laid down the base colors, and I'll slow down the video. Here is what the base colors that I landed on, and I know this looks crazy and it's kind of wacky, but my intention was to do the most unique color layout here because I was struggling so much. I just needed to get down a concept that helped me read the future path of the colors I wanted to put down. And it's kind of hard to explain, but because I could read these base colors and where they are, I can kind of think, this color looks bad here, or this color looks good here. I could do this here, lighten up this character, I keep saying character, lighten up this color, or hey, in this design, here needs more of the pink, or here needs more of the white. So as much crazy as this base color layout looks, it's actually kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. But it does, let's be real, it looks crazy. It was really a useful tool in getting the final colors down. And for anyone who's struggling with coloring a character, take my advice, do the absolute best you can laying down the colors, and just get something completely done. Don't focus, you can focus on one area at a time, and I actually recommend that. But I recommend working on one area at a time after you lay down a foundation of just something. Because when you have something, you can digest that, read it, and then vomit up your true colors and the placement you want for it. It really helped me with this design, especially since I felt like it was taking forever. But once I had this concept color reference, it was kind of solving a math equation. But I knew I'd get the solution. So it's would I rather just torture myself and keep erasing colors, or feel like I have a math equation I can solve? That's kind of the two at-end odds you have if you don't do your color base first. It just feels like a lost cause. Or I could explain it like this: when you have, especially if you've done character redesigns before and you have experience with that as, a viewer, hello viewer. If you have experience in doing a character redesign, it's kind of, you can envision what you're gonna do versus a coloring book page. You kind of have endless possibilities. There's kind of an infinite amount of choices you can make. But when you have a character you're redesigning, you probably have a good idea of the direction you want to take it. You know what I mean? It's kind of infinite possibilities versus a handful of decisions you could probably make. And I can predict myself pretty well. So it was a lot easier with the base colors. You know Katie's passionate when she starts stuttering. Anyway, as I am digesting this base colory thingy, I am also applying the type of patterns I want in the design. So the stripes on the suspenders, that was something I planned to do originally, so that was like one of the easier options. But something I also added when I went to coloring that I didn't really necessarily know for sure I would add. It's kind of predictable that I did this, but I did my drizzle. I added a drizzle on the hat and the arms and on the tummy. That's a pattern I kind of have throughout this design. And also sprinkles, because that just makes sense. So as I am digesting my base colors, I'm adding the more minute patterns that I want in the design. And I also have to make sure these are balanced, so they have to be everywhere in the design. And I will say there's a bit of an exception in this design. I don't normally always say that, but when it comes to the sprinkles, I felt like since sprinkles are layered from top down, you know what I mean? Like when you drop sprinkles, they're not going to be on the bowl of the ice cream necessarily. I did count the rim because I feel like sometimes you put sprinkles on a rim of a bowl with the little chocolate, and I felt like the brown rim kind of could represent that, and we stuck sprinkles to it. But here you can kind of see that, or on screen, you can see that I did apply sprinkles to the bottom of the pants. I actually ended up vetoing this, and Chrissy actually recommended I do that as well because, you know, I run my designs past Chrissy, my twin sister. And we both agreed that it made sense for the sprinkles to not be on the bottom of the pants because you wouldn't be sprinkling sprinkles there. It wouldn't be getting all that sprinklage. It doesn't really make sense. So that actually is an exception to where I felt like it needed to be balanced, but I feel like here it was a little too much and I needed to take away. It also freed up that space to have like a place to rest your eyes towards the bottom of the design. So that was good. Thinking about it though, the drizzle design also kind of reflects that because there are no drizzles towards the bottom of the design. It's all towards the top and the middle. So that's also kind of an exception when it comes to this. One of the patterns in this design that is quite truly my favorite is this like rubber ball, like, you know those rubber band balls that like you have in your desk? I did like that look on his shoes and on some of the pom-poms in the center line, and I think that pattern looks really, really cute, and I really want to do that in future designs. I feel like that's such a potential Katie pattern that I have not used, and I like just unlocked it for this design. I'm like, I really love that pattern. Like, it looks so cool, and it really you can really incorporate every color into it. I really, really dig it. I don't think I've addressed this in a video, but I have on stream before. I figured out Fire Alpaca's time-lapse feature, and there's truly something really satisfying about watching the time-lapse, so I figured I'd always throw it in as an extra because this is my channel. I can do what I want, and it looks so cool. Like, I wish I could record all my videos in this like layout, but I can't like get good quality like specifically of like a time-lapse look because it looks like it's painting itself. It's cool. I love that. But there's something truly satisfying about seeing the time-lapse. And also, this is a little Katie tidbit for you, but if you're an artist like me who's always wanting to add stuff to Toy House and boosting up characters' galleries and making it look pretty, using Fire Alpaca's time lapses and turning those files into GIFs and adding them onto your character's Toy House adds a level of quality, quirkiness, and funky freshness that I needed. I absolutely love it, and it's so easy to do. And I truly just love it. And if you're also someone who wants to maybe potentially share their art content on like maybe YouTube Shorts, this is a really great place to start. It's not like the highest quality, but like it's trust me, if it's good enough for me, it's good enough for you. I like making shorts of the time lapses I do on Fire Alpaca. I think there's just something satisfying about it. So I recommend going and checking that out if you use Fire Alpaca and trying that feature out for yourself. It's actually really fun and really cool and not too hard to learn. Like, it's pretty much a click of a button and you're good. I will say Fire Alpaca time lapses will only like render down to 60 seconds. So if you want more, or if you want a video longer than 60 seconds, just like stop. Like, I like to stop right after my sketch or right after my line art and then start it again. It just depends on what you're drawing, but I would stop it like in the middle and then start it again if you want a longer video. But again, it's so great for Toy House. I love it. I think it looks so cute and cool. And here is a final look at our character design for today. I do not have any ideas for a name, so if you have any suggestions, that would be extraordinarily helpful. I'm actually quite at a loss. I'm not sure. I really thought about it for a while, but I have no idea. I thought maybe Bolus. That was the only name I came up with, but I feel like it's not quite there. I'm really in love with this character design. I think he's really cool looking and like is so like unexpectedly KateKruzan. Like, is anyone else getting that? I'm like, in my life would I see this as my character? No, but I see it as my character. Just such a funny way to describe anything. He's such a rad design. I really, really love him. And yes, by the way, today I did make this rig specifically for this video. I did not just randomly have a character rig with ice cream. I'm going to try and make rigs for every episode we do because I think they add something fun, funky, and fresh to the video. I'm not going to address it again in future. But if you keep saying fun rigs that I make, they're for the videos. You're welcome. I'm trying to do a bit of a polished look. I'm getting there. I'm trying. But this is the design for today. I am very happy with it. There's not anything I would change. I'm gonna be real. And I hope you like it too. Please comment below what you think. And something I should mention, I would be a bad artist person seller if I didn't mention this, but I also offer emoji designs on my Ko-fi. If you want to send me 3 emojis and pay me for your own emoji design, you can, and I will make them as wonderful as I made this character today. I really truly try my best with every character design I ever do for anyone, so if you want to go commission that, it's on my Ko-fi. I love you. God loves you. Stay safe.